Welcome back to the channel Rare Coins History, where we dive deep into the world of rare coins and hidden gems that might just be lying unnoticed in your very own change jar. Today, we're unlocking the mystery behind a small copper coin that could carry a massive secret, the United States 1-cent Lincoln wheat penny from the year 1954 with a mint mark. Now, this isn't just any penny. You've probably seen a few Lincoln wheat pennies before. Maybe you've even tossed them aside without a second thought. But the 1954 wheat penny, depending on its mint mark and condition, could be one of the most exciting pieces in American numismatic history. So, stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you'll discover why a single one of these pennies could change your life in a very big way. Let's start by traveling back in time to the early 1950s. America was riding the wave of post-war prosperity. Rock and roll was just beginning to shake up the airwaves, cars were getting sleeker, and coin production was in full swing at U.S. mints across the country. The Lincoln wheat penny, a design first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, was still going strong in 1954. This design was iconic, with Lincoln's solemn profile on the front, and two wheat ears flanking the words, 1 cent, on the back, a tribute to America's agricultural roots and a symbol of growth and prosperity. In 1954, the U.S. Mint produced Lincoln wheat pennies at 3 locations, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The coins from Denver carry a small D mint mark, and those from San Francisco have an S. Philadelphia minted coins, as usual for the time, have no mint mark. But here's where things get interesting. Some of the coins minted this year have features and characteristics that make them stand out far above the rest. You see, not all pennies are created equal. Most 1954 wheat pennies are still worth just a few cents to a couple of dollars, depending on wear and tear. But rare variants, especially those with specific mint marks, strong luster, and no signs of circulation, these are the ones that collectors dream of. A 1954 wheat penny with a crisp D or S mint mark, sharp strike, and perfect color can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars. But there's more. Some 1954 Lincoln pennies are known to have minting errors, things like double dies, off-center strikes, or planchet flaws. These errors happen when something goes wrong in the minting process, creating a coin that's different from all the others. Coin collectors love these unique quirks because they are truly one of a kind. And when a mint error occurs on a coin that's already old and in high demand, the value can skyrocket. Even more than error coins, the condition of a penny can make all the difference. Coins graded as mint state or MS, especially those rated 65 or higher by professional grading services, are in exceptional condition, no scratches, no wear, just flawless copper beauty. A 1954 wheat penny with a mint mark in MS 65 condition or better is incredibly rare because most of these coins were used in everyday commerce. They were tossed in pockets, jangled in cash registers, dropped in gutters, and scraped against countless surfaces over the decades. Finding one in uncirculated condition is like finding a perfectly preserved time capsule from 70 years ago. But there's an even higher tier, a league of coins so rare and desirable that they live in private collections, auction houses, and museums. These coins aren't just valuable for their metal content or face value. They're valuable because of their history, their scarcity, and the intense demand from collectors who understand just how rare they are. So now, you're probably asking, how much could one of these small, copper-colored coins be worth today? Imagine this. You're sifting through a box of old coins that belonged to your grandparents. You spot a shiny 1954 Lincoln wheat penny with a mint mark, looking surprisingly fresh. You send it off to a coin grading service. Weeks later, it comes back with a jaw-dropping grade. It's been perfectly preserved all these years. It's an error coin, it's uncirculated, it's one of the finest known examples on record, and then you hear the news, that very coin could be worth up to $75,000, yes, you heard that right, $75,000 for a single 1-cent coin. That's the kind of money that could pay for a car, a college education, or even a down payment on a house. All from a coin you might have easily overlooked or spent on a stick of gum. This is the magic of coin collecting. It's about patience, knowledge, and just a little bit of luck. The next time you go through your pocket change or peek into that old coin jar, take a closer look. Because you never know, you might be holding onto a piece of American history that could be worth a small fortune. Today's video is all about one of the most fascinating and underrated coins in American history, a tiny copper treasure that might be sitting in your pocket, your piggy bank, or hidden away in an old drawer. We're talking about the 1950 Lincoln wheat penny with a mint mark. Now, don't let the size fool you. This coin might be small, but its story is anything but. It's rich with history, mystery, and potential value that could absolutely blow your mind. So grab your magnifying glass and get ready, because this humble 1-cent coin just might surprise you in the biggest way possible. Let's take a trip back in time to the year 1950. The United States was changing rapidly. The war had ended, the baby boom was in full swing, and Americans were stepping confidently into a new era. Television was beginning to reshape entertainment, suburbia was growing fast, and the economy was booming. And while all of this was happening, the U.S. Mint quietly continued producing the Lincoln wheat penny, a coin that had already become an American icon. First issued in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, the wheat penny was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. Its design remained unchanged for decades. On the front, we see Lincoln's profile, looking ahead with dignity. On the back, 2 stalks of wheat curving along the sides of the words, 1 cent, and United States of America. It's simple, but powerful, an image that speaks to America's agricultural strength and enduring spirit. Now, the 1950 edition of this coin was struck at 3 different locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. If you're lucky enough to have one from Denver, you'll see a small D mint mark right beneath the date. If it's from San Francisco, look for an S. The coins minted in Philadelphia, like most others of the time, have no mint mark at all. While millions of these pennies were made, not all of them were created equally. And this is where things get interesting for collectors. You see, a penny's value isn't just about its age, it's about its condition, its rarity, and sometimes, its mistakes. Most 1950 wheat pennies are still pretty common. You can find them at coin shops, flea markets, and in old collections. But here's the catch: most of those have been through decades of wear and tear. They've been passed from hand to hand, dropped on the ground, scratched, and scuffed. Those aren't the ones worth serious money. The real gems are the ones that look as fresh as the day they were minted. These are called uncirculated coins. They've been carefully preserved, sometimes forgotten in a drawer, sometimes saved by collectors who knew they were special. Their color is rich, their shine is intact, and there's not a scratch on them. Coins like these, especially those graded by professional services at mint state 65 or higher, can be incredibly valuable. But wait, it gets better. Some 1950 wheat pennies have minting errors that make them incredibly rare. We're talking about double dies, off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, and other mistakes that happened when the coin was being made. These kinds of errors are like typos in history. The mint didn't mean for them to happen, but they slipped through the cracks. And when collectors find them, oh, they get excited, because these error coins are one of a kind. Now imagine combining all these factors. A 1950 Lincoln wheat penny with a mint mark. It's uncirculated. It has a mint error. It's been professionally graded and certified as one of the best preserved examples in existence. Suddenly, this isn't just a penny anymore. It's a piece of history. A collector's dream. And a potential jackpot. And here's the moment you've been waiting for. In very rare cases, when all the right stars align, one of these tiny copper coins has been known to sell for up to $70,000. That's right. $70,000. For a single penny. So the next time you're going through an old coin jar, sorting through your grandfather's collection, or flipping through a forgotten box in the attic, pay close attention to those wheat pennies. Especially the ones from 1950 with a mint mark. Because what looks like an ordinary coin could actually be a life-changing discovery. Today, we're diving into a piece of American history that may be hiding in plain sight, a simple copper coin with an extraordinary story. If you've ever come across a penny from 1941 and thought it was just another old coin, think again. That tiny cent might be carrying a value far beyond what its face suggests. Get ready, because by the end of this video, you'll learn why the 1941 Lincoln Wheat penny, especially one with a mint mark, could be one of the most exciting coins you'll ever come across, and how one of them could be worth far more than anyone would expect. Let's rewind the clock and set the stage. The year is 1941. America is on the brink of entering World War II. The world is shifting, industries are booming, and the economy is preparing for wartime transformation. In the midst of it all, the U.S. Mint continues its routine work of striking coins for everyday commerce, millions of them, in fact. And among those coins, the Lincoln Wheat penny remains a familiar symbol in the hands of Americans everywhere. First introduced in 1909, the Lincoln Wheat penny was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, President Abraham Lincoln. His portrait on the front of the coin is instantly recognizable, strong, thoughtful, and timeless. On the back, two curved wheat stalks hugging the words, 1 cent, and United States of America, symbolizing the nation's agricultural strength and unity. This design stood for more than just currency, it represented the values of hard work and resilience that defined the American spirit. In 1941, these pennies were minted in 3 locations, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The ones struck in Denver have a small d under the date, and those from San Francisco carry an S. Coins from Philadelphia have no mint mark at all. While hundreds of millions of these pennies were produced that year, what matters most to collectors today is not how many were made, but how few have survived in exceptional condition, and how unique some of them are due to subtle minting variations. Most people who see a 1941 penny assume it's just old pocket change. And they're right, most of these coins are common. If they've been circulated and show wear, they might only fetch a few cents to $1. But hidden among the many are rare gems, coins that have never been touched, never used, and have been preserved in nearly perfect condition for over 80 years. These are known as uncirculated or mint state coins, and they are the ones that get collectors' hearts racing. But even beyond condition, there are other fascinating factors that can make a 1941 penny truly stand out. One of those is minting errors. You might be wondering, how can a mistake make a coin more valuable? Well, that's exactly what makes it exciting. A misaligned die, a double strike, a repunched mint mark, or a clipped planchet can transform a common coin into a one-of-a-kind collector's prize. These errors were never meant to leave the mint, yet somehow, they did, and today, collectors will pay a premium to own something so rare and unusual. Now, imagine finding a 1941 penny with a D or S mint mark, struck with a minting error, and still in brilliant uncirculated condition. That's not just a coin, that's a conversation piece, a historic artifact, and potentially a small fortune waiting to be discovered. It's not just the error coins that carry value either. The demand for high-grade, mint-condition Lincoln Wheat pennies continues to grow. Coin grading services assign numeric values to a coin's condition, with mint state 65 or higher being extremely desirable. When a coin is that well preserved, still glowing with its original luster, its details crisp and untouched, it enters a whole new category of value. These coins often end up in private collections or high-end auctions. They're not casually found in circulation anymore, and their scarcity continues to rise every year. With time, their value doesn't just hold, it increases. You might be thinking, could I really find one of these coins in my collection? The answer is yes. These treasures have been discovered in estate sales, old coin jars, forgotten collections, and even mixed into inherited boxes of change. They don't always come with a spotlight. Sometimes they're dusty. Sometimes they're overlooked. But for those who take the time to look, the rewards can be remarkable. So let's get to the part you've been waiting for. What's the true potential of a 1941 Lincoln Wheat penny with a mint mark, if you happen to have one that's uncirculated, free from flaws, or better yet, marked by a rare minting error, one that's been professionally graded and authenticated? You could be looking at a value of up to $79,000. That's right. $79,000 for a single 1-cent coin, and that's why coin collecting is more than just a hobby, it's a hunt. A hunt for stories, history, and hidden value. Because every once in a while, a simple coin can turn out to be a once-in-a-lifetime find. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating pieces of American pocket change, the 1944 Lincoln wheat penny with a mint mark. It's one of those coins that millions of people have handled over the years, yet very few know the true value it can hold. By the time we reach the end of this video, you'll understand why this single cent from 1944 could be worth far more than anyone ever expects. So get ready, because the story behind this coin might just surprise you. Let's start with a little time travel. The year is 1944. The world is still in the grip of World War II. American soldiers are fighting on distant fronts, industries are booming at home, and life across the United States is defined by rationing, sacrifice, and patriotism. Every citizen is doing their part, including the U.S. Mint. Even coins played a role in wartime decisions. In fact, just a year earlier in 1943, the United States made pennies out of steel coated with zinc to save copper for the war effort. These steel cents are well known among collectors. But in 1944, things changed again. The mint returned to using copper for pennies, but with a twist. Much of the copper used came from recycled shell casings from the battlefields. So every 1944 penny carries a little bit of history from both the home front and the front lines. The Lincoln wheat penny had already become a familiar sight by this time. With Abraham Lincoln's noble profile on the front and two wheat stalks curving around the back, it was a proud and simple symbol of American values. But something about the 1944 version makes it stand out, especially when you take a closer look at the mint mark, that small mint mark under the date. It tells you where the coin was made. A D means Denver. An S stands for San Francisco. No mint mark at all? That one came from Philadelphia. These little letters might seem insignificant, but to collectors, they can mean everything. While the U.S. Mint struck over 1 billion pennies in 1944, not all of them were equal. Many were used in everyday transactions, passed from hand to hand, worn down, scratched, and eventually forgotten. But a small number were different. A few were kept safe, untouched by time. And among those are some of the most sought-after and valuable pennies ever made. Now here's where the story gets even more interesting. Some 1944 wheat pennies have unique features. We're talking about minting errors, accidents during production that turned ordinary coins into rare treasures. Double dies, off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, and even leftover steel blanks from the previous year accidentally used in 1944 have made certain coins incredibly rare. Imagine finding a 1944 penny struck on a steel planchet instead of copper. That's a mistake that never should have happened, and yet, a few slipped through the cracks. They're like ghosts from the past, coins that never should exist, but somehow do. And when these rare versions show up in the hands of collectors or at auctions, they can command eye-popping prices. But even without an error, a 1944 penny with a mint mark can still hold serious value, especially if it's in exceptional condition. Most coins have been through a lot. They've lived in pockets, jingled in jars, been dropped, scuffed, and spent. But once in a while, a coin is found that was never circulated. These uncirculated coins, also called mint state coins, retain their original color and shine, with sharp details and no signs of wear. When a coin like this is professionally graded and receives a high mark, mint state 65 or higher, it instantly becomes a collector's prize. These are the coins that show up in serious collections and major auctions. They're rare not just because of their age, but because of how perfectly preserved they are, and of course, the combination of all three, mint mark, error, and condition, can push a coin's value into extraordinary territory. Now let's bring it back to you. Maybe you inherited a coin collection from a relative. Maybe you're just starting out and you've got a small stash of old pennies sitting in a jar. Maybe you've got a metal detector and love combing the earth for treasures. Whatever the case, it's worth checking, really checking, every old penny you come across. Especially the ones from 1944. Take a close look at the mint mark. Examine the color, the details, the surface. If you think it's special, have it evaluated by a professional grading service. Because what might look like just another copper penny could be something far more exciting. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. If you happen to find a 1944 Lincoln wheat penny with a mint mark, in stunning mint condition, or featuring a rare minting error, its value could reach as high as $76,000. That's right. 1 cent, turned into $76,000. It's amazing how history hides in the smallest places. And it just goes to show that in the world of coin collecting, it pays to look closer, to dig deeper, and to never underestimate the power of a penny. Today, we're peeling back the mystery on a coin that many people ignore, yet it might just be one of the most surprising finds in your entire collection, the 1966 Lincoln 1-cent coin. At first glance, it might seem like just another old penny. Copper, worn edges, Lincoln's familiar face staring off to the right. But what if I told you that one of these seemingly ordinary coins, yes, a 1966 penny, could be worth thousands of dollars if the right details line up? Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why this 1-cent coin is more than just scrap copper, and how it could be the key to uncovering a hidden fortune. Let's rewind the clock to 1966. America was in the middle of a cultural revolution. The Beatles were rocking the charts, civil rights movements were changing the course of history, and the country was feeling the growing weight of the Vietnam War. In the middle of all this, the U.S. Mint was quietly producing billions of coins to meet rising demand, and yes, the humble penny was one of them. Now, here's something that makes the 1966 penny stand out immediately. If you look closely, you'll notice something is missing. There's no mint mark beneath the year. That might seem like a mistake, but it was actually a deliberate decision. You see, in the mid-1960s, coin collecting had reached a fever pitch. People were hoarding coins, especially those with mint marks, and the U.S. Mint struggled to keep enough change in circulation. To cool down the craze and discourage hoarding, the Mint decided to remove mint marks altogether from coins in 1965, 1966, and 1967. That's why you'll find no D for Denver or S for San Francisco on these coins, even though they were still being produced at multiple locations. So what does this mean for the 1966 penny? Well, it means that identifying where a coin was minted becomes a little trickier, and a lot more interesting for collectors. While most of these coins were made in Philadelphia, some were minted elsewhere. And on rare occasions, minting inconsistencies or transitional errors slipped through the cracks, creating versions of the 1966 penny that are now worth a small fortune. Let's talk about what collectors look for. First, condition is king. A 1966 penny that's been passed around for decades, scratched, worn, and dulled, is still a piece of history, but it's probably not worth much. On the other hand, a 1966 penny that looks brand new, untouched by circulation, with its original coppery red color and crisp details, that's called a mint state coin. And if it's been professionally graded at MS 65 or higher, it can start to turn heads in the collecting world. But there's more. Mint errors are where the value can skyrocket. That's when a coin comes out of the mint with something unusual. Maybe the design is doubled, maybe the planchet wasn't punched right, or maybe part of the detail is missing. Sometimes a coin is struck off-center, or has a repunched date, or even has a mismatched die. And occasionally, a coin meant for another year or design ends up being struck in error. These mistakes are rare. But when they happen, and when they're on a coin as widely circulated as the 1966 penny, collectors go wild. Now imagine this: you're going through an old coin jar. You pull out a few pennies from the 60s. They look old, a little dusty, but something about one of them catches your eye. The color looks too bright. The design too sharp. The edges are clean. You look closer. Could this be uncirculated? Could it have an error? Could it be something special? You send it off to be graded. Weeks later, you get it back. It's flawless. Mint state 67. Not only that, an extremely rare die error is confirmed. At this point, it's not just a penny. It's a prize. And it's about to make headlines, because under the right conditions, a 1966 Lincoln penny, flawless in condition, paired with a confirmed rare error, has sold for as much as $68,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. A single 1-cent coin, turned into $68,000. That's the magic of coin collecting. It's not about what the coin says it's worth, it's about what the world of collectors is willing to pay. And sometimes, with a bit of luck, a sharp eye, and a rare find, even the most overlooked coin can become a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. So if you've got a stash of old coins lying around, or you've just picked up a box of mixed change from an estate sale or flea market, don't overlook those 1966 pennies. Look closely. You never know what might be sitting right under your nose. If you enjoyed this story and want more hidden gems and jaw-dropping coin finds, hit that like button, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a new video. This world is full of surprises, and we're here to uncover them, one coin at a time. Until next time, stay curious, stay sharp, and always check your change. Because treasure is everywhere, you just have to know where to look.